What's up? This is Alex. I had some breakfast, so I apologize if I have something on my face. I'll eventually get a towel and wipe it off because I know y'all be like, damn, Alex, I know you got your glove on, but damn, do something with your mouth, homie. Do something with your mouth, homie. You know how the brothers in the hood is when you be doing something. So hold on. Make sure they ain't nothing on the face. Alright, today's video discussion is going to be a special video that you thought would never happen on YouTube, on my channel. Sex talk. She's sexy, but she's feminist. Oh yes, we're talking about women who start that I'm feminist and hear me roar bullshit. Now, as you do know, that there's three stages, three transformations of a feminist. The first wave of feminism, I believe, started in the 1800s. And it wasn't until some 72 years later in the 1960s and 1970s that we got to the second wave of feminism, when that was about women who wanted their right to vote and be in the job world pretty much. And then we got the third wave of feminists. Now that I explained that, let's break down the math and the science, the good and the bad, because most Midtown men would have you believe there's only bad to feminism and there's no good, when that's a bunch of bullshit. Because if there's some good things about Midtown, there might be one, two, maybe three good things about women who are feminists. But I'm going to explain from my perspective in the 20th century of the third wave of feminism and what all this bullshit's all really all about. Because by the end of the day, it's just a big giant bowl of bullshit. This is probably the only time in the video I'm gonna be a arrogant asshole prick. So if you don't like me being an asshole prick, you may not want to watch this video. If you're a man, you might want to watch this video because I got some information that might be useful to you and your near future. Now, a lot of these women who bleach their hair purple, blue, red, orange, green, or black, that doesn't make them feminists. See, when they say the word feminist, it has to have some purpose to it, some meaning to it. As Agent Smith told us in The Matrix, without purpose, we would not exist. It is purpose because we exist. And without purpose, you would not exist. See, they try to give it an identity, but the problem is it goes a lot more deeper than she's got green hair, blue hair, red hair, purple hair, green hair, orange hair. It goes beyond that. That's not how you identify a feminist. A feminist, on the way that you identify one, is how you would identify anyone. You know that old saying, is not what you do, is what you say, and it's how you say it that anger and offend people? Well, guess what? If a woman straight out look at you and say, we should have equal pay, now that might send some red flags. If she thinks she can kick your ass like Ronda Rousey, that will send some red flags. It's what a woman says, is what comes out of a woman's mouth that determines, does she sound smart and intelligent? Or do she say some crazy extreme stuff that make you say, okay, the lights are on, but nobody's home? That's how you know if a woman's a feminist or not a feminist. Now, when you was in junior high, high school, and college, you had a group of nerds that got rejected by the mega hotties. You know, the basketball jocks, the football jocks, guys that were playing sports or gang banging, they got all the beautiful chicks, right? Raise your hand if you were in junior high, high school, and in college, and you saw the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players, the soccer players when you was in junior high, high school, and college get all the hot chicks. Raise your hand. Now, you saw if you were born in the 1970s or in the 80s or in the 90s, you saw these Hollywood films called Revenge of the Nerds. You know that goofy laugh the main character guy? You know that goofy ass laugh that you see in the movie? Well, guess what? There were also female nerds in those three films. Revenge of the Nerds Part 1, Revenge of the Nerds Part 2, Revenge of the Nerds Part 3, and for whatever reason, I guess they felt that if you make three films, why not make a Revenge of the Nerds Part 4? So there's actually 4 films of Revenge of the Nerds. These were guys that were told they're too short, they're fat, they're out of shape, they're not physically, sexually attractive, women don't like them, they don't play basketball, football, or baseball, and they're not athletic, they're not good looking, and they're into computers. You know, they're into fixing cars. You know, they're into science and how the universe works and why Pluto's not a planet. Women didn't like those type of men, right? You know that when you went to junior high, high school, and college, you met some guy that was into computers and he complained to you that these super mega hotties don't like me. Or if he was into Dragon Ball Z, girls go, well, I don't like him because he likes Dragon Ball Z. They give you a hard time, right or wrong. Well, you got some women who are nerds. You got some women who are into computer science. You got some women that are into anime. You got some women that are into how the universe works. And these women were rejected by basketball players, football players. They got turned down by the jocks when they was in junior high, high school, and college. Now, before any man from Midtown comes to my channel and starts talking that bullshit, try to sit down and use your brain and think very logic. Don't get into your feelings. Use this. You heard what Judge Dredd said in 1995. There had to be a law against emotions. Think logic. When you was in high school and in college, how many years did you go not getting no attention from women? If you were in junior high is like 3 years. High school's 4 years. So if you do the math, 3 plus 4 is 7. That's 7 years. Now you go to high school for 4 years. Now if you go to college, that's 4 years, right? So 4 plus 4 is 8. But then if you take junior high, high school, and college, it'd be 7, 8, 9, 10. So imagine for 10 years, a decade pretty much, no woman finds you physically, sexually attractive at all. And now imagine the women who call themselves feminists. Imagine how they feel. For 10 years, for a decade, the basketball players don't talk to me, the football players, the baseball players, the soccer players, the guys that run track, the guys that are on the swimming team. And as time goes on, these women become very angry, very pissed off, very vengeful. And instead of Revenge of the Nerds, we got Revenge of the Feminist Bitches. You know that old saying, hell have no fury like a woman scorned? Well, for about 10 or 11 or 12 years, you got, like I would say, a very good vast majority of women are scorned. Especially the fat feminist females who put on too much lipstick, too much makeup, and they be all evil and cold and vengeful. I want revenge. Basically, it's like what Frank Castle said in The Punisher. Revenge is a emotional response. So when all of these women roll their eyes and snap their fingers and they got stank attitudes and they be yelling, "I'm feminist and hear me war," that is a cry out for attention. For nobody paid attention to me in junior high, nobody acknowledged me in high school, and by the time I got to college, again, I was not acknowledged. So these women became angry and vengeful. They would say stuff like, "I'm gonna blow your car up if you don't ask me out to lunch or dinner," or "I'm gonna blow your house up if you don't find me physically, sexually attractive." They would say stuff like that, and you would look at the female like, come again? You said what? And then they would yell and say, "You heard me," and then they would run away and walk away. Now, those women who call themselves feminists, they do find men physically, sexually attractive. What it is they want revenge on the men that played basketball, football, and baseball. I mean, think about it. There are men that do like these women. Problem is, they don't like men who are just like them. Anytime a fat girl, 200 pounds, 300 pounds, 400 pounds, gets a chubby chaser, she don't want no chubby chaser. She want Brad Pitt. She want Tom Cruise. But we all know that Tom Cruise is a multi-millionaire, and guys that are multi-millionaires and billionaires, they don't date women that's fat and out of shape and average or below average looking. So these women go to sleep fantasizing a basketball player dates a woman that's 300 pounds. Or if the woman's 400 pounds, she goes to sleep thinking about a guy that's going to date a woman that's 400 pounds. And these women roll their eyes when you go to the gym, you go to the mall, you go to the supermarket. I know you men have experienced this, where you have a best friend that loves fat women for whatever bloody damn reason, and all of a sudden when he goes into the supermarket, he goes up to the biggest, fattest girl, whether she got red hair or blue hair or green hair or purple or orange or red hair, and she rolls her eyes at him. And then he look at you and go, "Why is this fat girl trying to play hard to get?" Well, did it ever occur to you that these women are nerds too? We ain't just got men that were nerds and geeks. We had some women that were goofy and clumsy. We had some girls that were madly in love with the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players, the soccer players, guys that ran track, guys that were on the swimming team. And those men did not find those women physically, sexually attractive at all. So 10 years went by. And once a decade gets by, these women are now approaching 28, 29, 30, 32 years old. And they're looking in the mirror and they're pissed off because it's been 10, 11, or 12 years now. And they want to know why no man has asked them out to lunch or dinner. They want to know why they're not married and they don't have no kids. So they become what they call a woman scorn. I want revenge. Now you see, the problem with this is that most women who do become feminists are full of shit. Because if you ever notice, you're not getting revenge on the men that you went to high school and college with. You're getting revenge on the men who remind you of the guys that rejected you. Like, I'll use myself for an example. I rejected this one black girl that I went to high school with. I will not say her first and last name. I will give her no acknowledgement and no satisfaction whatsoever because I'm an asshole. But my point is, I went to high school with her, and for 10 years she would bitch and complain that no man found her physically, sexually attractive. And I told her it's because you have an attitude. You have a nasty ass attitude. You're rude. You're disrespectful. And when someone's trying to give you some constructive criticism, you take it as an insult and then decide you want revenge because someone tried to explain to you that if you want to get what you want, you have to self-improve yourself. And I stopped talking to her because every time I talk to her, well, you know the old saying, the bloody lights is on, bloody mites. but there's nobody home, bloody mites, bloody damn it. And pretty much, I stopped talking to her. Now, anytime you see a woman who say I'm feminist, if you catch her looking at muscle fitness magazines and there's Chris Hemsworth who plays Thor, if she keeps looking at how buff his body is, then she's not a feminist because she's only doing it for attention. She wants someone to pay attention to her. So they'll say some crazy extreme nonsense because I want the attention. And whenever you can get a guy that plays basketball or football or baseball to bloody awful have sex with them, they don't be talking that feminist bullshit no more. All that unfeminist bullshit, it gets flushed down the toilet. I'm serious. If you think I'm lying and I'm full of crap, just look at television shows like Ellen DeGeneres. You know, she's gay. She openly admit that she's gay. She's a pretty nice, cool lady on television. And she put Chris Hemsworth out on the spot. Now you gotta ask yourself, why would she go to a reward ceremony 7 years ago when Chris Hemsworth became Thor and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all of a sudden, all the women start screaming and swooming when they see how buff Chris Hemsworth looked. Same thing with Scarlett Johansson. When Scarlett Johansson went to a couple of rally, campaigns with the feminists to promote her movie Ghost in the Shell, the same Ghost in the Shell film that sucked and died at the box office, a lot of people thought she was feminist until she was on a talk show with Christopher Evans, who played Captain America, and they were showing the movies, and she all of a sudden got turned on when she saw how buff Captain America looks without his shirt. And again, it goes back to what my girl Sandra Bullock said. You're strong and proud and feminist until you see somebody like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Jadam Tate, Christopher Evans, better known as Captain America, Chris Hemsworth as the Mighty Thor. Or should I say Chris Pratt as aka Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill from Guardians of the Galaxy. They're feminists until they see sexy, hot, attractive ass men. I'm serious. If you ever go to a rock concert, or better yet, remember the late 1990s when we had all those damn boy bands? I know that you know what the hell I'm talking about. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees. Do you guys remember those boy bands? Bye 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 bye. Telling one to be. You guys know what I'm talking about. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Oh yeah. And let's not forget One Direction. Yeah, there's One Direction. Anytime those females would go to those rock concerts, I'm let you on a little secret. The vast majority of them were feminists. Now, when you look at all these big Marvel sales, all these Marvel films, right? It ain't just the nerds going to see Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, Ant-Man, Doctor Strange. It ain't just people watching these Marvel comic films. You got women who say they're feminists watching these films. Ever since women saw Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the first Thor film, women have been fantasizing about the mighty Thor coming out of the sky to take them to lunch and dinner. That's why people don't like Natalie Portman, the actress, because you're basically sending a message saying it's okay to be a nerd, an average-looking woman, and you get to have the mighty Thor. Same thing if you watch the television show Green Arrow. The main character is dating a nerd. Now, men will say that's not supposed to happen in real life, but by the time these women get 30, 35, 40, 45 years of age, and some sad cases 50 years of age, these women hit the wall so fast and so hard that by the time they do want to get in a relationship and get married and have kids, it's too late because they wasted all their years hating a man that rejected them when they was in junior high, high school, and college. So if we have nerds and geeks that couldn't get with the supermodels or the cheerleaders, because that's what most of us got rejected by in junior high, high school, and college. We got rejected by the cheerleaders, the supermodels, the girls that were on the dance team. We got rejected by those type of females, and we for 10 years wanted to get revenge on the females who gave us fake phone numbers, fake email addresses, and things of that nature. Well, we got some females who try to get with the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players, the soccer players, guys who ran track on the track team, guys on the swimming team, and they got rejected for 10 years. And by the time this woman was 28, 29, 30 years old, 32 years old, a lot of cases, they become the vengeful woman scorned. That's why they always say, hell have no fury like a woman scorned. So when a woman becomes scorned, all of a sudden she got red hair, blue hair, purple hair, green hair, yellow hair, red hair, orange hair. All of a sudden she go all goth. I call it going Halloween, but she goes goth. And she starts saying weird, strange stuff because she got rejected. Then that's when you see the tattoos, the body piercings, and the short mini skirts. And that's when they go to the barbershop and they either cut their hair off and go bald headed, or they cut their hair short. And then people identify that as a feminist. But I'm here to tell you that's not what a feminist is. That might be what they look like, but it's what comes out their mouth that self-proclaimed them as a feminist. If a woman says, I want to be a manager or a supervisor, and I don't want to have kids and I don't want to get married, ding ding, that's a red flag. If a woman works for 10 years and has never been in a relationship and has never ever went out to lunch and dinner with a man, ding ding, that is a red flag. If a woman says a woman can do anything that a man can, now you got a case that, yeah, that might be a feminist. It what's coming out of their mouth that makes them feminists. Even if you go on online dating, and if you're handsome and good looking, and you start talking to these females, if the vast majority of women on online dating just so happen to be feminists. And then you find this out later if you're a man that's in his 30s. Usually men from the ages of 35 to 60 years old encounter this. And then they go, I went to high school with that woman. I went to college with that girl. She wasn't no feminist. Yeah, but if you rejected her, then you're on her hit list. That's when women start saying, I'm going to get revenge. But then what makes women that are feminists full of shit and hypocritical is you're not getting revenge on the guys that rejected you when you was in junior high, high school, and college. You're getting revenge on the guys who remind you of the guys that rejected you. That's what makes it hypocritical and full of shit. Because if it was 100% real, genuine, you would get back at the basketball players, the football players, the baseball players, the soccer players. If the guy was an actor or an R&B singer, you get revenge on those guys. When women see, music groups like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees, One Direction, and let's not forget that group who made that one famous rock song, Welcome to the New Age, Radioactive. You don't get revenge on those guys, but you get revenge on the guy that you put in the friend zone. The guy that you say, well, I don't like you. So the guy that gets put in the friend zone, that's who you get revenge on. But if it's guys like Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, you never get revenge on him because you find those men physically, sexually attractive. So the idea of getting revenge on a man that you're attracted to is blasphemy to some women. And then you got the women who will kick women out of the sisterhood of feminism because she got her some good McDonald's McLovin. Yes, you heard me, McDonald's McLovin. I said it again, McDonald's McLovin. And all of a sudden it be female versus female. All of the females be in the Barbie doll corner talking about, oh, she got her some McDonald's McLovin. Let's kick her out of the sisterhood of feminists. And you see, what you don't get is, it's like being a Hollywood actress. A lot of these women, they put on a good show in public, but behind closed doors in their house or in their apartment, they be on these dating websites, Tinder, hotornot.com. Yeah, that's the name of an actual website. And they go on Tinder, they go on these dating websites, and they be trolling for the men that they know they find physically sexually attractive. So you can meet a woman that's a feminist, and she'll swear up and down, I hate all men. Black men, white men, Mexican men, Asian men. But then that same woman who says that, all of a sudden you see her 5 months later at a nightclub or at a bar on the back of a motorcycle with a guy that's an asshole. And you be saying, hold on, wait a minute. This woman said she hate all men. She said, damn men to hell. And you like, you on the back of a man's motorcycle and you getting banged that same night. Yeah, that's a bit fucking hypocritical. Don't y'all think so? So in part 2 of this video, I'm going to talk about what happens when women who are feminists become police officers, police women, doctors, lawyers, teachers. Oh yeah, there's some women that are feminists, but they're teachers in college. You go to your local high school and your local colleges, there are some women in there that are feminists, but you don't notice it because these women be so sexually hot and attractive, you don't know it. But we're going to talk about the women that are not that physically sexually attractive in part 2. We're going to talk about what happens when those women become managers, supervisors, assistant managers, assistant supervisors, and they start working for these Fortune 500 companies, and all of a sudden they have power and control. And what happens when you go for a job interview and you don't get the job, and the woman is the one that gives you the job interview? What the hell that all of that's all about? See, part 1, I'm trying to explain to you, it's about the rejection. Think about it. If you get rejected for 10 years, a decade, you're going to be angry, you're going to be vengeful, and you're going to want revenge on the men that rejected you. And as soon as you remind them of a guy that did them wrong, then you start doing what Amber Rose does. You start doing what all these women do when they want revenge. But then if you look good looking to them, then all of a sudden they contradict themselves. See, when I was in college, can't tell you the name of the school, though, I met a black woman that was a feminist. And for almost 5 years, she would never talk to me. But when I started showing that I put out my charisma like LL Cool J and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and I laid the smackdown on that final, all of a sudden this black woman made a damn scene in class, got down on the floor with her butt out, and started making a fool out of herself. And what had happened was, I beat a black woman that was quote unquote feminist into submission. All of a sudden this woman found me physically, sexually attractive. I mean, she was trying to get any man to pay attention to her anyway. But when I started talking to white girls, Mexican girls, and Asian girls, then she really wanted to pay attention to me, if you know what I mean. And that just goes to show you that if she really was a feminist like they say they are, then they wouldn't like man. But this is only part 1, and when I come back with part 2, I'm going to explain what happens when you get a job and your boss is a woman, and what happens when she tries to extract revenge on you. Gotta make these videos. Until then, peace.